Dawn of the unexpected. The void of space erupted in brilliant flashes of light as energy beams crisscrossed between warships. The battle at Proxima Centauri had raged for 17 hours without pause. The mightiest fleet of the Centauri Alliance locked in deadly combat with the Varaxian Empire's elite armada. Neither side gaining a decisive advantage, both determined to claim this strategic system as their own. Admiral Zenthar of the Centauri stood on the command bridge of the Celestial Hammer, his translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that betrayed his growing frustration. The 9-foot-tall alien's compound eyes scanned the tactical display, searching for any weakness in the Varaxian formation. "Status report," he demanded, his voice echoing through the crystalline chamber. "Our forward shields are holding at 63%. "Admiral," replied Commander Lithia, her 4 arms moving rapidly across control panels. "The Varaxians have lost 3 destroyers, but their battlecruiser formation remains intact." Zenthar nodded solemnly. "And our casualties? 5 frigates destroyed, 2 cruisers critically damaged. The Sunburst is venting atmosphere but still fighting." On the opposite side of the battlefield, Fleet Lord Krazek of the Varaxian Empire watched the chaos unfold from his flagship, the Eternal Claw. His exoskeletal body, evolved for war through countless generations, tensed as he studied the engagement. The chitness plates covering his torso bore the scars of 100 battles, each one a testament to his endurance. "Their line is weakening, my lord," hissed Subcommander Vex, mandibles clicking in anticipation. "Their central formation has overextended." Krazek's yellow eyes narrowed. "Perhaps. Order Battle Group Epsilon-To." An alarm suddenly blared throughout the command deck, cutting him off mid-sentence. The tactical officer's claws frantically danced across the control console. "Unknown vessel detected," the officer shouted, his voice rising in pitch. "It's appeared at the edge of the system." In an instant, both fleet's sensors detected the newcomer. A single ship had emerged from nowhere, bypassing all the standard detection systems that monitored incoming warp signatures. There had been no warning, no distortion field, one moment empty space, the next a vessel unlike any seen before. "Magnify," ordered Zenthar, as a holographic image materialized before him. The ship was sleek and angular, its dark hull absorbing rather than reflecting light. It was smaller than the capital ships of either fleet, yet something about its design suggested dangerous efficiency. No ornate decorations like Centauri vessels, no intimidating protrusions like Varaxian warships. Just clean, purposeful lines that spoke of engineering pushed to its limits. "Species identification," Zenthar demanded. Commander Lithia's skin paled. "According to archives, human." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Humans were known to both empires, of course, a relatively young species confined to their solar system, or so intelligence had reported. They had established limited diplomatic contact, but were considered technologically primitive, centuries behind the established galactic powers. The concept of a human warship appearing in the middle of an elite fleet battle was absurd. "Impossible," Zenthar whispered. "They have no FTL capability." On the Eternal Claw, Krazek was equally perplexed. A human vessel. "Here," he snarled. "Check your sensors again." "Confirmed, my lord," Vex insisted. "Design matches no known configuration, but energy signatures correlate with human technology, vastly enhanced, but recognizable patterns." The mysterious ship remained motionless, seemingly observing the battle. Both fleets hesitated, momentarily forgetting their conflict as they assessed this unexpected development. Then, a transmission cut through all frequencies, overriding encryption protocols with ease. "This is Captain Eleanor Reeves of the Terran naval vessel Defiant," a calm, authoritative voice announced. "We are here to end this conflict. Stand down your weapons." The audacity of the demand left both commanders speechless. A single vessel, regardless of origin, commanding 2 of the galaxy's mightiest fleets to surrender. Fleet Lord Krazek recovered first, his mandibles clicking in amusement. "Destroy this impudent craft," he ordered. Full disruptor barrage. 6 Voraxian warships broke formation, turning their massive weapon arrays toward the human vessel. Green energy gathered at their gun ports before unleashing a devastating volley that should have atomized any ship of that size. The Defiant didn't move. It didn't raise shields in any conventional way. Instead, the space around it seemed to bend. The energy beams curved impossibly, passing harmlessly around the vessel before dissipating into nothingness. "What just happened?" Zenthar demanded, his skin now flashing bright patterns of alarm. "Unknown defensive technology," Lithia responded, her voice trembling. "It appears to be manipulating space-time itself." Before either fleet could process what they had witnessed, the Defiant moved. Not the lumbering acceleration of standard engines, but an instant blur that defied physical laws. One moment stationary, the next alongside the largest Voraxian battlecruiser. A pulse of blue energy, subtle, almost elegant, emanated from the human ship. Where it touched the Voraxian vessel, matter simply ceased. Clean, precise sections of the massive warship disappeared, as if erased from existence. The battlecruiser, suddenly missing critical structural components, began to break apart under its own mass. "Gravitational weaponry," whispered one of Zenthar's science officers in horrified awe. "They're creating localized singularities." The demonstration continued. The Defiant moved again, impossibly fast, appearing amidst a formation of Centauri cruisers. This time, no weapons fired. Instead, every system on the Centauri vessels simply shut down, leaving them floating powerless. "All ships, open fire," Krasek roared, panic now evident in his voice. The remaining Voraxian fleet responded, unleashing their full arsenal. Disruptor beams, plasma torpedoes, kinetic impactors, all converging on the position of the human ship. The Defiant vanished again, reappearing at a different point in space, as the weapons found only empty void. "This can't be happening," Zenthar murmured. "No species possesses such technology." The human ship continued its methodical demonstration, neutralizing key vessels in both fleets without destroying them completely. A surgical precision that spoke of overwhelming technological superiority combined with deliberate restraint. Captain Eleanor Reeves's voice broadcast again. "This is your final warning. We could have destroyed your fleets entirely. Instead, we've disabled your vessels with minimal casualties. Stand down now." On the Celestial Hammer, Admiral Zenthar made his decision. All Centauri vessels, cease fire and power down weapon systems. Fleet Lord Krasek, however, was not ready to yield. "Continue the attack. Concentrate all fire." The Defiant responded by appearing directly before the Eternal Claw. A precise beam of energy sliced through the flagship's command deck, careful to avoid critical life support systems, but removing all weapon control stations. "You no longer have the capability to fight," Captain Reeves stated flatly. "This conflict is over." As the reality of the situation sank in, a new transmission came through, this time on a private channel to both fleet commanders. "Admiral Zenthar, Fleet Lord Krasek," Captain Reeves began, her voice now carrying a diplomatic tone. "Humanity has watched this war long enough. We had hoped you would resolve your differences without our intervention, but we can no longer stand by as your conflict threatens stability in this region, a region that includes human interests." "How?" demanded Krasek. "How did humans achieve such technology?" "Your species was primitive, confined to a single system." "A common misconception," Reeves replied. "One we were content to let persist. Humanity has been advancing for centuries while remaining deliberately inconspicuous. We have observed the galaxy's political landscape and determined that revealing our true capabilities would only invite conflict. Today marks the end of that policy." The implications stunned both commanders into silence. How many other assumptions about the galaxy were wrong? What other secrets lurked in supposedly primitive corners of space? "Representatives from both your governments will be invited to Earth for peace negotiations," Reeves continued. This is not a request. The era of unchecked warfare in this sector has ended. As the Defiant moved away from the paralyzed fleets, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted irrevocably. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the battlefield would never be the same again. A new power rises. News of the battle at Proxima Centauri spread across the galaxy with unprecedented speed. Encrypted transmissions, quantum relays, and subspace communications carried the same impossible story. A single human warship had neutralized elements of both the Centauri Alliance and Varaxian Empire's elite fleets without sustaining damage. In the Grand Assembly Hall on Centauria Prime, the ruling Council of 12 convened an emergency session. The vast chamber, normally orderly and procedural, now buzzed with anxious voices and frantic debates. "This cannot stand," bellowed Councillor Nevix, pounding his bioluminescent fist against the polished table. "The humans have made fools of us. Our military must respond with overwhelming force." Elder Councillor Tiana, her ancient skin barely glowing with the faint patterns of extreme age, raised a slender hand. And what would that accomplish? If their demonstration is an accurate representation of their capabilities, direct confrontation would be suicide. Similar discussions raged throughout the Varaxian Empire. In the Imperial War Chamber on Vorax Prime, chitinous generals and admirals clicked their mandibles furiously as Emperor Craxus listened in cold silence. "The humans must have been developing their technology in secret for centuries," proposed War Minister Zex. "Our intelligence reports were catastrophically wrong." Emperor Craxus's eyes narrowed, or deliberately manipulated. "Perhaps humans have been influencing our information networks all along." The paranoia spread quickly. If humans had concealed such power, what else were they hiding? And more importantly, what did they want? Aboard the Defiant, now stationed in neutral space between Centauri and Varaxian territories, Captain Eleanor Reeves observed the diplomatic fallout with calculated precision. At 48, she was relatively young for her position, but her piercing gray eyes reflected a wisdom beyond her years. Her dark hair, streaked with premature silver, was pulled back in a regulation bun, emphasizing angular features that rarely betrayed emotion. "The Centauri are sending their high diplomat," reported Commander Jackson Chen, her executive officer. "The Varaxians are dispatching a war prelate, technically a military physician, but one with diplomatic authority." Reeves nodded, studying the detailed psychological profiles displayed on her command console. "They're testing us, trying to gauge our intentions while preserving their dignity." She touched a control panel. "Prepare the conference chamber. Standard diplomatic protocols with enhanced security measures." 3 days later, High Diplomat Ilara of the Centauri and War Prelate Voxcross of the Varaxians arrived on separate vessels. Both were escorted to the Defiant's conference chamber, a surprisingly austere room for such momentous discussions. "Welcome aboard the Defiant," Captain Reeves greeted them, standing as they entered. "Please be seated." Neither alien moved immediately, both studying their surroundings and their host with intense scrutiny. "Your vessel," Ilara began, her translucent skin pulsing with patterns that indicated careful calculation, "possesses technology that defies our understanding. Yet you invite us here as equals." "Technology does not define diplomacy," Reeves replied smoothly. "Humanity values peaceful resolution whenever possible." Voxcross's mandibles clicked skeptically. "Your demonstration of power suggests otherwise. You did not come seeking peace. You came to enforce it." Reeves smiled slightly. "An important distinction. We did not initiate your conflict, but we have chosen to end it." The captain activated a holographic display in the center of the table, revealing a detailed map of the contested sector. "For too long, your empires have fought over resources and territories that neither truly needs," she continued. "Humanity has watched, waited, and hoped for a natural resolution. That hope has proven futile." "And what gives humans the right to arbitrate galactic affairs?" demanded Voxcross. "The same right that your empires have claimed for centuries: superior capability." Reeves's tone remained measured but firm. The difference is our objective. We don't seek conquest or domination. We seek stability. Over the next several hours, Captain Reeves outlined humanity's proposal: a demilitarized zone between the two empires, jointly administered under human oversight. Both powers would maintain sovereignty over their existing territories, but would cease all military operations within the buffer region. "This is extortion," Ilara protested, though her bioenergy patterns revealed calculation rather than genuine outrage. "This is reality," Reeves countered. "The alternative is continued conflict, which we will no longer permit." As negotiations proceeded, a disturbing report reached War Prelate Voxcross through his secure channel. The Emperor had rejected diplomacy and dispatched the Imperial Reserve Fleet, 300 warships that had been held in reserve, to ambush and destroy the Defiant. Voxcross faced a crucial decision. His loyalty to the Empire was absolute, but he had witnessed the human ship's capabilities firsthand. Warning the humans might be the only way to prevent catastrophic Voraxian losses. In the end, pragmatism prevailed over loyalty. "Captain Reeves," he said abruptly, interrupting a detailed discussion of trade routes, "my Emperor has made a grave miscalculation. The Imperial Reserve Fleet is en route to this position with orders to destroy your vessel." Ilara's skin flashed with patterns of shock and alarm. "You would reveal your own military operations." "I would prevent a massacre," Voxcross replied grimly. Captain Reeves showed no surprise. "We are aware of the fleet's movement. Thank you for your honesty, War Prelate. It will be remembered." "You knew." Voxcross's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Human technology extends beyond weaponry," Reeves explained. "Our detection systems operate on principles your scientists haven't yet conceptualized." She turned to her executive officer. "Commander Chen, initiate diplomatic protocol Omega." Throughout the ship, subtle changes occurred as systems reconfigured. Nothing dramatic, nothing that would alarm their guests, but the Defiant was preparing. "The approaching fleet will not change our negotiations," Reeves continued calmly, "but it will provide an opportunity to demonstrate why further military action is futile." 2 hours later, the Imperial Reserve Fleet dropped out of FTL travel, surrounding the diplomatic position in a vast sphere of warships. The Defiant appeared tiny and vulnerable in their midst. Supreme Commander Krax's holographic image appeared in the conference chamber. "Surrender the human vessel and release our War Prelate," he demanded. "Otherwise, we will reduce your ship to atoms." Captain Reeves stood, straightening her uniform jacket. "I'm afraid we must decline. War Prelate Voxcross is our guest, not our prisoner, and this ship will not be surrendered." She addressed her alien guests. "Please observe the tactical display. What you are about to witness will hopefully conclude any discussion of military options permanently." The holographic map expanded, showing the positions of all Voraxian vessels surrounding them. 300 warships arrayed in battle formation, weapons charged. Defiant to all Earth vessels in proximity, Reeves spoke clearly. "Execute Revelation Protocol." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, throughout the Voraxian formation, new signatures appeared on the tactical display. Not one or two, but dozens, then hundreds of human vessels decloaking simultaneously. They had been there all along, invisible to Voraxian sensors, positioned strategically throughout the formation. The shock on Supreme Commander Krax's face was evident even across species. "Impossible. The Defiant never travels alone," Captain Reeves explained calmly. "This is the 7th Expeditionary Fleet of the Terran Navy, 350 vessels, each with capabilities equal to the Defiant. The human ships moved with perfect coordination, each positioning itself alongside a Voraxian vessel. No weapons fired, no threats were made. Their presence alone was message enough. We could have revealed this at any time," Reeves continued. "We chose not to until forced. Now you understand the futility of military action against Earth or its interests." The impact was immediate and profound. Within hours, Both the Centauri Alliance and Varaxian Empire agreed to Earth's peace terms. The war that had raged for decades ended not with a final battle, but with the revelation of a power neither side could hope to challenge. As the diplomatic vessels departed, Captain Reeves stood alone on the Defiant's observation deck, watching the stars. Commander Chen joined her, offering the data tablet. "The peace treaty has been transmitted to Earth," he reported. "High Command sends congratulations." Reeves nodded, still gazing outward. "And so it begins. The new era? Humanity's emergence," she corrected. "For centuries, we've hidden our true capabilities, developed our technology in secret, expanded quietly through the stars. Now we step into the light. Some might say we've become the very thing we feared. An overwhelming force imposing its will," Chen observed. Reeves turned to face him. "The difference is in our purpose. We don't seek conquest or subjugation. We seek a stable galaxy where all species can develop without the constant threat of annihilation. And if they resist our vision of stability," Captain Reeves's expression hardened slightly, "then they'll learn what humanity truly capable of." As the Defiant engaged its drive system and disappeared from conventional detection, a message propagated across all communication networks in the galaxy. "Humanity has arrived. The battlefield will never be the same again."